existing अगर टैंक्स हैं 2000 वाटर लेवल से 20,000 10,000
जी 10,000
वाटर लेवल पे, तो उसके अगर रोटो गेज को रिप्लेस करना है तो फ्लोट गेज उसमें किस तरह हम उसको एडजस्ट कर सकते हैं? आप कुछ बताएंगे? मुझे माइक के ऊपर से आता हूँ।
Okay, please carry on.
Yes.
Carry on. We will discuss this when we have our discussion session.
Okay, no problem. Yeah, no problem. So basically, this is designed to replace the old rotor gauge. But yet I say again, the tank must have a manhole to access, to allow the other part of the gauge to access into the tank. That's the only problem. Other than that, if you have a manhole, it's not an issue. You can just change over the rotor gauge. Okay. Next slide. Okay, this is to show you that not only horizontal, we can actually mount at the angle or we can mount from the top. So there is still a lot of position. So actually, Ryan, I think you have a form that I give you before. If there's any inquiry or requirement for float gauge, fill up the form and we will know how we select. Okay, the other thing is regardless the size of the tank, don't get too worried on the catalog. The catalog we put standard length. But that doesn't mean that we cannot produce different length. Yes, we can still make the length to suit your tank, and that's very important. So that's why every time when we do a selection of a float gauge, we always ask you the position of your float gauge that you want it to be and what is your internal diameter. Because we do not want the float to hit against the tank if we select the wrong size or we build the wrong length for you. So the ball is supposed to sits on top of the LPG without hitting the top and the bottom of the tank. Okay? So you look at this picture below, you can see that the float gauge is, diaphragm is there, and you can stand down there and you can read it very easily without any problem. Okay, next slide. Okay, good news. Marshal actually will be launching either end of this year or next year, a new digital graphic. So if you have Marshal float gauge, you want to change to digital, it's possible. So what does the digital float gauge show you? It shows you the volume in numbers. And it can be in gallons or in liters. So these are the two units you can put, liter or gallon. But this will show you the percentage. And the advantage of showing this is that it's even more accurate. And you can read from where you are. And the behind the backlight, you can change any color that you like. So that one, I think they have 10 colors to choose. When it's launched, I will share that new product with you, maybe end of the year or next year. I will share with Rahil and then he will send those information to you to take a look. See, this is very important. Marshal doesn't just stop there. And the reason we come into digital is because customers want to capture the data. And the data can be transmitted to the office to read, to see whether how much LPG is left in the tank. And when the tank is traveling, the digital of the 95%, for example, will disappear from the tank because we do not want to show other people how much is left in the tank. So only when the tank is stationary doing transferring, it's only the driver can tell how much LPG is in the tank, and the thing will light up by itself. So basically, these are the design that we come up with to meet the digital requirement. Today, people are talking about digital, and this is something that Marshal can provide our customers. And the reason we can provide this technology is because Marshal bought over a company called Base. And Base is actually a very powerful so-called Yeah, they actually can do a lot of wonder, which I will share with you all some other time, because this is a so-called fleet management technology to help people to manage their fleet better. The reason in this presentation I don't want to share with you is because let us do one thing at a time, and from there you realize how powerful Marshal is combining with this. Okay, so this is one example what base has developed for us. Okay, next slide. LPG flow dynamic. Okay, I come back to flow again. The reason why Marshal always talking about flow, that's something that most of our competitors doesn't want to address because they do not have a solution. And the reason why Marshal want to address that because we want to help our customer to solve. Because most customer will say, oh, your internal valve is not performing, the flow is very slow. But it's not just only the equipment. The crucial part is the plumbing, the piping, the plumbing. And these are very crucial to the smooth flow of the LPG in and out of the tank. This slide. Okay. You see, when LPG flow out, there are a few situations will happen. There will be a liquid and gaseous stage, and that might cause problem, that might cause cavitation. And because LPG can convert from liquid to gas very easily, especially in a hot weather. I will never forget how it's very hot in March or in April. Okay, either of those months, that is too much for me, and so it's too much for the LPG. And plumbing, it becomes very crucial. Okay, next slide. So as you know, that pressure and temperature is two of the components that causes the LPG to change. Okay, next slide. So normally in any fabrication, okay, imagine you have an internal valve below your tank. So most fabricators, even in US, they will have a plumbing coming down. They will try to weld the T, and you can see that there's a lot of welding. If it is a welding or it is an MPT connection, there will be a lot of leak point. Every line that you see there, that's a leak point. And on top of that, if it's a welding, imagine you have to weld edge of the line, and you have to do an X-ray. It's going to cost you a lot of money to fabricate a T like this. So because of these challenges that the tank manufacturers face in US, they request Marshal to come up with a solution. But on top of that, not only just fabrication. Imagine if LPG is going to flow downward and it hits against the T and to flow sideways, the flow is not going to be very smooth. Let me show you the next slide. I think my battery should just finish. Okay, I get my battery because I forgot to on my power. Okay. The next slide will show that this is a normal welding or MPT that you build, and you notice that you see the flow is going to come right down and hit against the bottom of the pipe, and then it will create a turbulence to flow left or right. It depends on which part of the valve is open. Okay, next slide. So what Marshal does is that we cast out a T, okay? And this T is designed to smoothen the flow. The flow that comes down to the tank is smooth flow either to the left or to the right. And that is very important. By smoothing the flow, it reduces turbulence or cavitation. And that will not change the liquid into vapor in the plumbing. And that is very dangerous. Because if that happens, over a period of time, your plumbing will corrode due to cavitation or due to turbulence, and the flow will reduce. And that actually will cause a slow flow. Okay, this slide. Okay, this is one slide showing a T also. Okay, this slide. This is what I want to show you. You see, if you have a sectional cut, this T is cast. So the casting will allow to have a smooth flow. And the only welding point you have is at the point of the T, the three part, and that's all you have. So first of all, imagine if this plumbing that you have with the cast T on the road, no matter how bad the vibration is, you will not have any leak on. If it's a weld joint, these are all the weld joint. And it's welding, it's good. You only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 welding. Compared to the earlier on, I'm not sure how many welding you have, I didn't count. But this actually reduces leaking at every joint that you create on the T. And this is what I'm talking about leak. That's one point. Second point is it actually they try to create a linear flow. Even though it's a T that's coming down, you try to smoothen the flow. When you smooth the flow, no turbulence, and the flow will be much faster. This one. This is also an elbow. We create that. Okay, this slide. I will show you some of the fitting that we designed for our customer in US. This is a 3-inch to 2-inch. This is a T6. These are all casting, not welding. It's casting. This slide. Okay, we also have claws, we have T. Okay, stop there. Okay, this is how to show you below the tank, whether it's transportation, and you can see all the internal valve that's below the tank, and then you can see the connection coming down. So it's very smooth. These are very standard design in US, and I believe that is also a very standard design in Pakistan. Okay, and you can see that the pump below. Okay, these are all the design. This slide. Okay, from this sectional you can see the flow will be very smooth, whether you open the left or the right. And when the LPG flow down, you just go to the left or the right, very smooth. And you notice that the T is the one that reduces the turbulence. Next slide. Okay, this is one slide to show you how we connect the flow from the pump that sucks the liquid from the tank and then divert down to left and right with a proper T. This slide. Okay. This is a T that we actually create for discharge from the pump. The reason we developed this is because of the layout of the plumbing in US. I'm not sure about Pakistan, but this was developed to smoothen the flow. Okay, this slide. Okay, these are some of the flow. And you notice some of the connection that we have. We are trying to use flange connection, square flange connection. The reason why we are doing that is flange connection, you can tightly, the leaking will be lesser compared to MPT. And flange connection might also reduce welding cost. Okay, you can think about that. Look at our catalog and see how those leaking can support your production. Okay, next slide. So when we design our T's, claws, or elbow, we don't design just because we fancy that band. No, we did do study to see what is the pressure drop and what differences we make by having that design. So we have the computer and the design, and we also do the test to find out how the flow is improved compared to a normal T. You see, you look on the right side, this is a standard T that normally people will wear. And you notice that the flow on this normal standard T is 270 gallons per minute. While we use our T, the flow has improved to 570 gallons. That's the difference. The flow is 2 times faster. So now you understand that any liquid flowing out from the tank, if you do not have not only the right equipment, you must have the right plumbing. If your plumbing is right, the flow will increase by double. And this is what we dominate the market in US because the customer realized that what Marshal is doing for them is not only selling their equipment, we are trying to sell them to solve the plumbing issue that they are facing in US. Okay, next slide. So we also have a connection towards the pump based on the feedback from the customer. This is one of them. Okay. Next slide. Yeah, this is another elbow. Okay, so wherever you see a high capacity, what we are trying to tell you is that we are trying to improve the flow. So if you look at this on the right side, the chart with the colorful flow, the standard elbow will give you 310 gallons per minute. The below one is 710. It's almost like 2 times, more than 2 times actually. So these are all tested on the lab. It's not something that we write. So this is just now you see the same truck. Okay, we change it because this truck manufacturer want to have a proper T. This slide, it shows that the T is okay. I think yeah, the connection. Another slide. This is a square connection that we have. You see, you notice that we are start using square flange connection. The reason to have square flange is because welding easy to dismantle the equipment below and on top using just bolt and nut. Because imagine MPT track is slowly going to be obsolete in US. And the reason why US is oscillating the MPT track because MPT track over a period of time it will rust and you will actually have problem in maintenance and it create leaking. Flange connection is actually the best connection. Because if there's any leaking, most flange they will have padding or O-ring on the flange and they will just seal against it and it eliminates leaking. And during any vibration, normally a flange will not leak as bad as MPT connection. If the flange connection is stopped correctly to the power, it will not leak. Okay, this is a cross connection. This slide. Yeah. I was about to show you because this slide was put wrongly. Okay, just on the front, you notice the reason we developed that blue T is to connect to the pump so that the flow is much better. And this T is a bit longer. And the reason we designed for the customer is because they actually have high volume of truck that requires this. So we understand our customer in US, their plumbing requirement. So all those T that you see in the previous one is designed for those requirements. So I hope in Pakistan, all the tank manufacturers can look into it and see those fittings, whether it can help you to make your tank perform faster flow that can flow 2 times the speed of your current design, and that is actually called innovation. You change the design. Okay, next slide. So these are some design that we do to help to address some flow issue. So this is a spool that is used for some internal valve. This one. This is the internal valve. Okay, look at this internal valve. You'll be wondering how come there is a cage on top. Okay, there are situations where some of the LPG, they actually have debris and dirt or rubbish because sometimes over a period of time the tank will have corrosion due to some reason we do not know or some rubbish. So this is actually a strainer. It will actually stop the dirt from getting trapped into the internal valve. So that's why we always recommend every tank manufacturer, before they install any equipment into the tank, they have to make sure the tank is internally is clean up, because most tank manufacturers, what they do is when they finish the tank, they have to do a what do you call that, a pressure what do you call it? I think it's a pressure test. You put water into the tank. What do you call that? Hydrostatic test, to make sure the tank can withstand the pressure. So sometimes they put water into the tank to make sure there's no leaking, everything. And when you drain out, most of the tank internally you have some coating. But sometimes if you do not clean out the water might create some problem. So that's the reason why we always encourage tank manufacturer to clean out the tank, dry everything, then you fit in the fitting, so there will be no rubbish trapping on the internal valve. because not all internal valve will have this strainer. But you can design a strainer to inside the tank to prevent rubbish. This slide. Okay, just now you see that the spooky, okay, there are situations where you cannot put this internal valve in the tank because it's of the old design. You do not want to cut the tank. So what you do is, especially for stationary tank, and you want to convert with internal valve. So what you can do is that you can connect the flange and put the spool key here, and you put the internal valve below. So this is a modification for doing that. The reason why this came out was very simple. In the old design in US, most of the tank doesn't have internal valve. They use access flow valve and ball valve to close on and off. Under the US law, I think it's 2010, if I didn't remember wrongly. All the tank manufacturers, all the existing tank in US, I think they give them something like 5 to 10 years to convert all the tank to use internal valve or emergency shower valve. And that is why this design was developed to accommodate old tank that doesn't allow to fit internal valve. So this is why we have that in US. So just to share with you, you'll be thinking why don't they put the internal valve inside the tank? But because these are old tank. So in US, they use a lot of access flow valve and batch head valve for their stationary tank. But under the law, those are not safe enough. They are good, but not safe enough. In the case of fire, you will not perform anything better than the internal valve. So that's why the law changed and all the tank can change. This one. This is a traditional growth valve, and a lot of so-called tank manufacturers hate it because the flow is very restricting and it actually slows down the flow. So that's why people will go to the next slide, the ball valve. Oh, I think so. Okay, maybe the ball valve later. Never, just go back to the other one. You can see the ball valve.
Okay.
The ball valve is a traditional use in most public. Yeah, okay, I'll talk about this one.
I
Sorry?
use the ball valve.
Yeah, okay. Go back to the previous slide. Go back to slide. I want to discuss about the traditional valve. Okay. You see, this traditional valve, this growth valve, people don't like it because the flow a lot turbulent. So we are talking about good flow, you know, but this is not a good valve because it creates turbulence. Traditionally in US, they use this type of growth valve, and most plumbers don't like it because it slows down the flow. So that's the reason why this slide. Even in US, they use ball valve, but ball valve have performed very well because it creates linear flow, perfect, very good. But you notice above that ball, you can see the packing here. There's totally no packing. When it's new, it provides a perfect seal. Imagine you have this ball valve on your transportation or stationary valve. Over a period of time, there's wear and tear, and the leak will come out from the handle. And this creates a problem. And that's the reason why in US, traditional ball valve is actually not allowed. It depends on where it's located. If it's located very near to the tank, it's normally not approved. If it's located downstream, it's okay. They might accept it on downstream, but not near to the tank. Next slide. So that's the reason why Marshal realized that growth valve doesn't perform well. But the advantage of growth valve is, you will notice at the stem head, they have packing. And this packing will prevent the leaking of the LPG from the stem. That's why you look at ball valve. Ball valve, the stem area is so small, whenever there's wear and tear, it will leak. So what Marshal does is that they tilt the stem to an angle of 35 degrees. So by doing that, it actually allows 70% flow through the growth valve. So this is a patent design by Marshal, and it works well. And the advantage is that if the stem over a period of time, the stem loose or wear and tear, the slip, you can actually remove the stem and do the packing without removing the bulb. And that's the beauty of our design. So is you can do the maintenance online, remove the handle, take out the packing, put new packing, and then you just close it off. The gas will not leak out. The design are designed in such a way it will not leak out through the handle. So basically, this is something that we designed. It's like
I have a question that in US there is a requirement of realistic flow valve, or you can use the standard flow valve as well.
okay. In US, growth valve is very popular. The reason why they use growth valve is because the stem they have packing, they prevent leaking. But yet again, in US, they hate to use traditional growth valve is because the flow, as I showed in the earlier slide, it actually have very turbulent and head loss is very high. So that's why Marshal understand the problem. We changed design to allow 70% flow.
And
So
why-
that actually encourages.
And why you
Sorry?
are offering dual listing? Is there any requirement in US to have valve with dual listing?
Yes, yes. Any valve that is near to the tank has to be UL listed. That's the reason why if you see the map just now you had earlier on for the box storage, you can see all these valves be located. And this is very important because what you want is you want to protect your tank, the pumping system, the tank to prevent from leaking. And you want the broke valve to service perfectly without any leak. That's why you need to have a UL approved. Any equipment near to the tank, you must have UL.
As per US laws.
Yes, US law because see UL actually was UL and NPA 58. All these standards are especially so-called sit down by all tank manufacturer, LPG marketeer, and equipment supplier. They sit down every year in a year, couple of times to identify problem and to come up standard, to reinforce the standard to protect the public. And standard don't come out by a person who have no knowledge of LPG. Their knowledge is not one person, it's a whole committee of people who are in industry, who realize the problem and they came up, this is a standard they must have. So that's why in US, group valve is a must, but they face a headache. So what Marshal do is that we modified the group valve to increase the flow by 70%.
But cost will be increased, Philip. Group valve will be expensive, and if you go with UL, so
Yes.
it will be more expensive.
Yes, okay. Just imagine, okay, I understand that equipment are expensive if you invest it correctly, but yet again, you must understand how you measure the cost of building a system which costs you millions of dollars. Imagine if any of the equipment fail you, your $1 million of investment will go down to drain. Fail you in what sense? Performance. It means it doesn't flow well, there's leaking. When there's leaking, what it means? Your money is leaking into the air. LPG is money. So when you leak, it leaks money. The third thing is safety. Okay? If you want to use ball valve, by all means you use ball valve. Imagine if there is a fire at your site, the ball valve, the stem area is so small, it might start a fire there. You do not know. But a ball valve is well sealed. That's why you don't find any ball valve with UL approved. No UL approved for ball valve. Okay? And then what you are looking at is the reason why Marshal come up with a tip is to give high flow. So these are all the things. So your investment of the capital, it looks expensive initially. But if your plant performs with no problem, you can deliver more goods to your customer, you will make profit back. And that is where your safety is.
So you mean to
High
say
flow,
that,
quick delivery.
Philip, you mean to say that we not only consider on a purchase cost, we also consider on the operational cost as well.
Yes, operational cost and safety. And operational cost is the most costliest. See, to invest on the equipment cost is always it might not big, but a lot of customers forget about operational cost. If you add up the operational cost And if the operating cost is high due to selecting a wrong equipment, two factors of operational cost. One is replacing equipment, and the other one is downtime. And that cost, if you add up, you tell yourself, I should have bought a better equipment. But if you keep on putting same old equipment, you have the same problem. So actually today meeting, what we are looking at is, let us as a team understand what are the problem we face. We might have a solution or we might not have a solution. But the important thing is this, we are not ignorant about our problem. When we are ignorant about problem, this problem will come after us every day. If we can use money to solve a problem, why not? Because money we can earn back, but problem is always there. So if you are ignorant, okay, this problem, okay, just leave it there. But if the problem keep on coming, you're losing money. But you ask yourself, if I solve the problem, if I can make more money, then the problem is solved. The worst thing is, not even money can solve the problem. Then that is the real problem. So in life, you always ask yourself, if problem can solve by money, go ahead. Because you know why? Money can earn. But if there's an accident, if there is some life loss, sorry, this is something that you cannot bring back. So this is something that I want to share with you, because in my belief, I've been trying to understand what is the ignorance of human beings like me and everybody. It's because we must learn to understand our problem and solve it. So how to solve it? And that's very important. Just like, sorry, I kept myself too emotional. Okay, so Marshal realized that you want a linear flow like a ball valve. So what we do is, this ball valve that we have created, we provide a linear flow. So this, you can notice that the thing was totally leaf out and the flow is linear. So this is an intention that we have and nobody done it. Okay, this slide. Okay, this is okay. This is actually a side swing check valve. So you can have this installed in your plumbing system, normally in the stationary tank area. The reason you want to have this is you want to see the flow of your LPG, and you want to make sure that you are visible. So this is some customer. It's not a must requirement, but you want to see, then this is something that allow you to see the flow of your LPG in your plant system. Okay, next slide. Okay, what do Marshal Excelsior offer? Okay, next slide. Okay, you see, our just now we talked about the 5 questions that I raised, so I'm not going to repeat. So what actually we want to offer? We want to offer solution to the current problem. Okay? You might have it, you might not have it, and my solution is, as you see in the previous slide, those design, those innovation that we created was to address the problem that my customer in US is facing, and in also outside of US. So the next question that we answer is to select the right equipment for your customer tank. Okay? So the tank actually, whether the manufacturer make it or it belongs to the customer. And the customer must understand that they need a right equipment to support their business operations. So we want to incorporate the latest technology to eliminate loss of LPG. Okay? And that's very important. The fourth thing is to save life and save money. Saving money is sometimes most LPG marketeers overlook, because they always think that by saving money is to have the lowest cost of building the tank, and that is saving money. Wrong. to save money is to have the right, not to overspend the money, to have the right investment, to have the right equipment for the tank, and the saving of the money is on the operational of the whole plant and even the truck, and that's very important. So what actually Marshal offers is also the latest technology to offer operational saving and to make the system more efficient. So in all my previous slides, I have described, these are all designs that none of my competitors will look into. Never. They will never look. They just want to sell you equipment to do an equipment job. But what Marshal offers you is we provide you an equipment that offers solution. And that's very more important. So that's the difference between Marshal and our competitors. Next one. So your business will grow when you select the right equipment for your customer base. And Marshal is your partner to grow your business with your innovation. Because Marshal can have the best equipment in the world, but we need you to look into your business, whether you are the tank manufacturer, or whether you are the marketer, or you are the authority who dominate the standard. In order for Pakistan LPG industry to grow, we must innovate. So innovation is not invention. It's making small changes along the way to improve on the operation, and that can be done by everybody, not just by Marshal. Everybody can do innovation. Next slide. Yeah, this is another slide of a happy customer. You can on this video.
I mean, what's most important? Why are you buying the Marshal Excelsior products?
This is a customer they interviewed for us in the exhibition. When we grab hold of you and just let them talk.
We don't have problems with the product. And many years ago, we had some other brand products that we used that caused us problems, and in the winter we can't have that. And we have not had with MEC products any issues in the wintertime. I think one of the things for me with MEC that kind of makes them stand out is I really truly believe that they test their product, research their product, and are very concerned in desiring to have their product be the best product it could be. And I believe that that's what they produce. It's a great product for us. It performs top notch, and they stand behind it, but we've been extremely happy with it over the 10 plus years that we've been using our product.
Okay. So imagine, especially US, not much customer want to give testimony. But if one do give, it means it improves, Marshal have offered solution for it. And that's more important to us. So we want our customer to be happy, and we will deliver solution. This slide.
Philip, we also have done the same job, provide the solution regarding the design of, I think, Excelsior valve, which was raised by the pyramid. Remember?
Okay. Yes. I think the last time when the pyramid was looking at the access profile in the backcheck valve, we were trying to discuss with pyramid, and pyramid realized that they need to change. And this small little change that they made, we will realize that along the way it will benefit. So we are learning every day, because we don't expect someone to change too quickly, because you have to understand your problem first. Don't change just because I tell you to change. Because you have to look at your business and say, okay, this is my problem, this is my problem. Okay, where can I find a solution to make a change? And that's very important. So Marshal and EIF, we do not want to force our customer to change immediately. We want our customer to identify what the problem they are facing in their normal business and come back to us and say, Raju, I think I got this little problem. You think, is there any way to solve it? Is there any way to address it? Then us together. I might have the equipment for you, or I might not have. But if we do not have, if it is a feasible study, Marshal might just go and improve on the product that you are having now facing the problem. So even today, when Marshal has all the product that we have, we are still improving it every day. We don't believe that the product we offer to you is the best. We know it's the best, but we are still improving it because we do not want to stop at the point of time. So most of our competitors will say, okay, this is what we have. We will not change the design. We have been with us for 20 years. Correct. But condition change, design change, material change, everything change. So we are living in a changing world, and we need to change to adapt. Okay, I'm more or less finished on the so-called bulk storage and transportation, so-called tank, talking about those issues. I believe if you have any other questions that you might not think of it now, you can still drop an email to Rahil to ask him, and he can send to me, or you can get Rahil you can get email from Rahil. You can send the email to me direct, and I'll try to answer them as much as possible. Because to me, in Marshal, every problem you think, we will find a solution for. And that actually will help not only you in your business, we also help in our business. So that is very important. Okay, this slide that I'm going to show to you is the LPG tank equipment. We are talking about smaller tanks. Tanks like cylinders or those that is not bulk storage. These are some of the equipment that we have. I just want to quickly share with you to just let you know we are also having this type of equipment to support you in your downstream business. This slide. This is exhibited in the US, just to show you the mounting of the valve and then the behind of it. Okay, this slide. This is, I think in Pakistan we call it a 200 kg tank, right here?
Yeah, actually, we receive an what type of tank normally Palco has offering the customer commercial, I think, huh?
Yeah, this is also very common in US. These are also used in commercial or even in residential, where people have this tank because they are staying far away and they cannot afford to just only a cylinder. So this is very common. So you notice that Marshal also offer flow gauge, okay, that measure the level of it, and then you also have the withdrawal valve, you also have the regulator, the lead valve, and the filling of the LPG valve there. So basically, this is what we have, this slide. So these are all the parts that we have, okay. Just mind you, you see, whenever I look at this type of valve, I have customers always tell me, especially in China, I'm not sure about Pakistan because I'm still learning Pakistan, the manufacturing of this type of equipment. In China, there's a lot of cheap equipment, very cheap, very, very cheap. And the reason why today Marshal doesn't want to touch China market is because they have very good standard, but their enforcement is very weak. And a lot of customers, they go for very cheap of this product and they end up with a lot of problems. And till today we never entered China is because we do China market, but we do not want to enter much because of the pricing that's too low. So these are some very good products that we have, and we believe this have done very well in countries like Australia, Philippines, other part of Asia, and US we don't see. I mean US will use all this product. This slide.
currently मुझे बताया था आप लोगों की थाईलैंड से फोन कर रहे हैं
जी पिछले 2-3 साल 4 साल से थाईलैंड से क्योंकि वो रेगुलरली ये एक दो मैन्युफैक्चरर्स हैं मेजरमेंट है दूसरा
फिटिंग वगैरह उसमें वो लगा के देने वाले
फिटिंग हम इंश्योर करते हैं कि वो लोग वो उनसे परचेज करें।
अपने रिकमेंडेड वेंडर आप बताते हैं
हमने रिकमेंडेड वेंडर भी बताया हुआ है सर। हाँ आई थिंक आप लोग अगर उसको हमने उनको जनरलाइज कर दिया। इस दफ़ा आपने जब टेंडर भी मार्शल को भी ऐड किया, हमने कि वो भी आ जाए, इनको आ जाए, कमाना भी किया। और आपने देखा होगा कि हमने लिस्टिंग वगैरह करके जनरलाइज कर दिया उसको। बाकी अगर इसके अलावा भी इक्वलेंट भी लिखा है उसके साथ 300। सो हैविंग सेड दैट, इसी तरह जो हमारे LPG के सिलेंडर या 200 kg के सिलेंडर स्टैंडर्ड्स के आते हैं, उसमें भी हम लोगों ने कहा हुआ है कि वो आई भी कुछ मैन्युफैक्चरर्स हैं ब्रांड्स के, लेकिन हमने US और यूरोपियन मैन्युफैक्चरर्स स्पेसिफाई किया हुआ है। तो आप उनसे अगर करने डायरेक्टली तो वो किया
मुझे बताइएगा
ये 2-3 कंपनीज
अगर रेफर कर दिएगा तो मैं इससे ऑफ लिंक डायरेक्ट
SNPC है, साम इधर है, फिर बेटरमेट है टाइप। ब्रिगेड से हमें कंप्लेंट्स बहुत ज़्यादा हैं। वी आर थिंकिंग ऑफ वेज कि किस तरह हमारे लोकल मैन्युफैक्चरर्स अगर हमें ये मैन्युफैक्चर सिलेंडर की सिर्फ सिलेंडर तो हम लोग वैल्व पेजेस यहाँ परचेज कर लिया करेंगे और
ये लोग ही बनवा लेंगे।
हाँ जी, लेकिन अभी तक हमारी बड़ी इज्जत के साथ हम लोग भी बड़े खानी है, लेकिन हमारा 200 kg सिलेंडर्स के ऊपर कॉन्फिडेंस डेवलप नहीं हुआ लोकल पार्टनर्स के साथ। एक तो बहुत भारी बना देते हैं, चेंज जो है 6 शीट लगा देते हैं, मेरे 3.96 वाली अगर ये इम्पोर्ट करें अच्छी शीट और फिर से करें तो हम लोग वी आर एक्चुअली टॉक्स विद लोकल मैन्युफैक्चरर्स पास और दूसरे जदीद वगैरह की एक तो .4BW पे से कैलकुलेशन मांगने प्रेशर की तो वो बड़ी मुश्किल से करते हैं, तो फिर मसला हो जाता है हम लोगों को क्वालिफाई करने में। तो अगर ये 2-3 चीज़ें प्रूव कर लें तो हम लोग को वी आर वेरी मच इन बाइंग दीज, क्योंकि पिछले अगर 2-3 साल में देखें तो करेंगे तो मेरा ख्याल है कोई 500 मिलियन के तो सिर्फ सिलेंडर इनसे खरीदे होंगे और उसमें कंप्लेंट्स भी बहुत सारे। मुझे ट्राई बंदे को पकड़ के लाना कि ये चलो मसला है, लेकिन मुझे राहील साहब को पकड़ना के सर ये आपके बैर में ये बड़ा आसान है।